All right, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to create your group, and then not only just create the group, but also what are the settings that you want to have within the group, and how do you want to set up the group to optimize interactions and get the most people in the group, the right people in the group. So the first thing you can do, and I'm just going to go to the home screen so it's easier for you guys. So just go to your home screen that you're used to, and on the bottom left, you're going to see Explore. You want to hit the Groups button, and then on the top right, you're going to hit Create Group. Okay. This is going to give you all your group information. It's going to you'll name the group. You're going to decide whether it's a closed group or an open group. For the majority of you guys, I think doing a closed group is probably best because then you can pre-qualify people. So that means that not just anybody in the world can join. But you want to do closed groups are the best. I usually pin it to my shortcuts too, so that I don't have to go searching for the group in the future. And then the last thing, you can add some people into the group. If you have a certain, a patient list or want to start adding people into the group, you can add some of those people. But I usually just go in right into Create Group, and then what it's going to take you to, and I'll take you to a group right now. Let's see, just to show you what it looks like in the group. So we will go to, again, it looks, as you can see, I got a lot of groups, but let's go to Social Health Experts. Okay, so this is the Social Health Experts group, which you are a part of if you went to that section. And I'm going to just show you a couple things in the back end. So number one, I always create a short video, and I basically create the guidelines, or I give them my group the guidelines of what are the rules of the group, who this group is for, what we expect, no complaining, all of that. So watch that video in my group. That's a good video, but you always want to take that and you want to pin that. As you can see, I pinned it to the announcements. Okay, so when people get on here, the first thing they're going to see is that. So before you start inviting people or anything like that, you just want to pin people to, you want to pin that to the announcements. And what I like to do is I like to put in some content beforehand. So before you start inviting people into your group, maybe back post, or post, 5 or 6 pieces of content so that people come on the page, they don't see it just as a ghost page. I'm going to go into more, and I'm going to go to edit group settings, and I'm show you some of the back end group settings. So again, picking a group type can be helpful. I'll pick one right now for this, and we'll put this as a support group. And then a description, just create a brief description of what people can expect. Your locations, you can choose a location or not have a location. That's up to you. Apps. So if you're going to use Ecamm and go live on using an app like Ecamm, they're going to make you add the app in here. So if you ever do something from your group and they say, oh, you can't do this in your group, just go to this place specifically and hit add apps, and you can add apps to that group. You can link your public page. So if you have a public office page, you can link that page here. You can choose your colors. There's a couple of different colors you can choose for the groups. You can customize the address. I wouldn't worry about that right now. Privacy, obviously, we selected that earlier. I do like to enable badges. It essentially means that if people respond and engage, they get a little badge next to their name. People like that. Membership approval. Again, I like to have only admins and moderators to be able to approve memberships because, again, we want to control the types of people in this group. If you have a lot of people that, are trying to market to your patients or potential patients in this group, that's not going to be good. And so what I like to do is have only admins and moderators. So essentially they'll be able to apply, and then you can moderate. Chat permissions, I let members drop their, put in their posts and drop their chats. You can have pre-approvals. Again, that's if you have another group and you are bringing people over to this group. They don't have to get approved. And then membership requests. You can ask questions of your members, which I highly recommend, is asking 1 or 2 questions for your members when they apply. Right? You see everybody that applies, but if they answer the questions, then you can see maybe your group is for people with pain. Well, maybe a question could be, how long have you been dealing with your pain? Asking specific questions can help pre-qualify someone for your group. Again, this also helps you ward away people that are trying to steal content from your group for their own group. Membership requests, I don't mind other pages, so I just allow posting permissions. Anybody in the group can post. Again, depending on your content subject or your content topics, you can have a post-approval process, which basically means that if someone posts something in the group, you have to approve it. That's kind of, it really depends on the type of content that you're putting out and that you're receiving. If you start running into an issue where people start spamming the group, you can turn that on. Story posting permissions, again, I have anybody in the group. Story post approval, again, I have that off. So again, story posting is if someone's, if your group is part of an event or part of, maybe your practice, and someone wants to share a story of them getting adjusted at your practice or getting treatment at your practice, they can post that there. So those are the settings that I have in the group. Again, guys, the last thing I will say is, in your discussion, you want to really engage with your audience. So you want to encourage discussion. There's a lot of things that you can do in here. You can do polls. So like what I'll do is I like to do polls for like a future video that I might do. Hey, guys, what would you like to learn on this week? Inflammation, this, or this, and let your people vote on it. You can ask for recommendations, or your people in your group can ask for recommendations. Again, these are some things that you can talk about in your intro video. Obviously, you can add videos and photos. You can go live just from the group. You can tag an event. You can create an event just for your group. So there's a lot of aspects of it, of the group that's beneficial. And the last, and I will show you this too. You're going to see that people are requesting. So I just search through. I make sure that they fit. So this is a group for practitioners. So for this one, he has 6 friends in the group, so more than likely he's a practitioner. This person, nutrition consultant, so I'll approve them. Again, 13 friends in the group, I'll approve that. And then healthy living, I'll approve that. Again, all people that would fit the model by group. The last thing I'll say, guys, is the reason that we want to do groups is, groups, when you post in a group, everybody that's in that group gets notified of that post. So it's much more effective than having people on your professional page, is that people go directly to get notifications directly to this group. You get much higher show rates for Facebook Lives when you go live from a group. And then last thing, it's just a good way to create kind of your inner circle, right? Your favorite patients, the people that are engaged. Because when you do something like you share something publicly and you want to kind of use this group of people as your ambassadors, you can say, hey guys, we're posting this new piece of content on my public page. I'd love for you to share it. You can post that in your group, and you have this group that loves you and that's gonna speak highly of you. And then lastly, it's a way for members to get to know each other. So guys, building groups are so important. If you don't have a group, start creating one now. Follow the resources that I just mentioned, and you're gonna do great.